While most of us are scrolling for the latest parenting hacks to raise successful kids, the world's most established families are playing a completely different game. They're not raising influencers, they're raising dynasties. Their playbook is a hidden curriculum, a set of unspoken rules and rituals you won't find in any book or on any social media feed. This isn't really about wealth, it's about building character. It's a quiet, deliberate process designed to create adults who are not just affluent, but elegant, grounded, and resilient. They are raising stewards, not stars. So, let's pull back the curtain on this secret playbook. You're about to discover the core principles they use to raise exceptionally poised and capable adults. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into this world of generational wisdom. Now, you'll want to stay with me because the third rule we'll discuss will completely change how you think about raising self-reliant children. Rule number 1, the sovereignty of self-command. The first and maybe the most important rule in the old money curriculum is mastering self-command. In mainstream culture, manners are often seen as a bit quaint, an old-fashioned performance of politeness. But in these families, manners are something much deeper. They are the visible proof of internal discipline. This isn't about being submissive, it's about being in control. A child is taught to say please, thank you, and good morning not just to be nice, but because it reflects their own internal standards. It's a display of composure and respect for everyone, no matter their social or economic status. An old money child learns early that how you treat the gardener, the doorman, or the household staff is a direct reflection of your own character, not their job title. It sends a clear message: civility isn't optional, it's a personal code that doesn't change with fluctuating fortunes. This extends to emotional regulation, which is often considered the highest form of intelligence in these circles. Children aren't taught to suppress their emotions, but to manage them constructively. Public tantrums or fits of entitlement are seen as a serious failure of personal control. The message is clear: the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. True power is quiet. Parents model this by handling disagreements in private, away from their children. Decisions are made with calm deliberation, not in the heat of the moment. This teaches a vital lesson. Leadership is composed, and poise under pressure is far more powerful than any display of anger. Think of it this way. In a world that rewards outrage, the ability to stay composed is a superpower. It's armor. An old money child learns that their emotions are their own to manage, not a weapon to use against others. They are trained to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. This isn't about being cold, it's about navigating life from a position of strength and grace. It's the quiet authority that lets you walk into any room, a boardroom, a charity event, or a crisis, and command respect without ever raising your voice. So, what's the takeaway? Frame manners as a form of self-respect. Teach kids that politeness shows they are in control of themselves. Encourage them to treat everyone the same courtesy, from a CEO to a janitor. When they're upset, guide them to manage their feelings instead of rushing to fix their frustration. Let them experience disappointment and learn to handle it with dignity. This builds the emotional resilience that separates the truly elegant from the merely rich. Rule number 2, the sanctity of ritual. The second rule is an unwavering commitment to ritual. In an old money home, life isn't a chaotic series of random events. It's a carefully structured process built on consistency. These families know that stability is the foundation of emotional security. Discipline is steady, expectations are clear, and even the tone of voice is measured and predictable. This shows up in several non-negotiable rituals. The morning routine, for instance, is sacred. A child is often expected to wake at a consistent time, make their bed, and get properly dressed before breakfast. This isn't military-style rigidity, it's about starting the day with order and self-discipline. It teaches that the day is something you command, not just stumble into. The family dinner is probably the most important classroom. In these homes, the dinner table is a sanctuary from the outside world. Phones are away, the TV is off, the focus is on conversation. but not idle gossip. Instead, they talk about ideas. Children are expected to participate, to listen, and to discuss culture, history, or art. This does more than just expand their minds. It teaches them how to form a thought, listen respectfully, and engage in the kind of conversation that builds real connection. It reinforces that a life of the mind is more valuable than a life of consumption. Another powerful ritual is the intentional cultivation of quiet. In a world of constant digital noise, some families schedule quiet hours where kids are expected to read, write, or just think in silence. To an outsider, this might sound strict, but it's a form of mental training. It teaches patience, focus, and the ability to be comfortable alone. In a society that rewards the loudest voice, this practice creates children who have a commanding presence, not because of their volume, but because of their stillness. These rituals create a rhythm of calm and predictability. A child who knows what to expect and understands the rules grows up feeling grounded. Their confidence doesn't come from constant praise, but from the deep-seated repetition of meaningful habits. It's the deep-seated understanding that love and security are constants, not rewards for performance. For anyone looking to adopt this, the lesson is to create consistent, meaningful routines. Make the family dinner a device-free zone for real conversation. Schedule time for reading or quiet reflection. These rituals don't require wealth, they just require intention. They are the invisible architecture of a stable and thoughtful home. Rule number 3, the mandate of early autonomy. Now for a principle that seems totally backward in our world of helicopter parenting, the mandate of early autonomy. While the modern instinct is to shield children from failure and manage their lives, old money families often do the opposite. They know that competence and confidence are not given, they are earned. And they can only be earned through responsibility and the freedom to make mistakes. This often starts with early independence. It's one reason boarding schools have long been a staple of the upper classes, not just for academics, but to deliberately remove the parental safety net and force a child to build resilience and self-reliance. But this isn't just about school, it's woven into daily life. Children get real responsibilities from a young age. This isn't just about chores, it's about genuine stewardship. A child might manage their own allowance, not as pocket money, but as a real budget for certain expenses, teaching them the consequences of their financial choices. John D. Rockefeller, for instance, famously had his children keep a detailed ledger of their earnings and spending, which he would review with them. This wasn't about being stingy, it was a hands-on lesson in financial cause and effect. In this framework, failure isn't a crisis, it's just part of the curriculum. If a child mismanages their allowance and runs out of money, they aren't bailed out. If they forget their homework, a parent is unlikely to rush it to school. The attitude is, learn from it. What will you do differently next time? This approach teaches grit, a quality money can't buy. By not intervening, these parents send a powerful message. I trust you to handle this. This trust builds more self-esteem than 1,000 words of praise ever could. This philosophy extends to social skills too. Instead of a parent managing every interaction, a child is taught to speak for themselves. Let the 12-year-old order at the restaurant. Let the teens schedule their own appointments. These small acts of delegation build what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief in your own ability to succeed. They learn their family name might open doors, but it is their own competence that will keep them in the room. The goal is to raise an adult, not a perpetual child. The safety net of wealth is there, but it's deliberately kept just out of reach in daily life. This might seem harsh, but it's an act of profound respect for a child's potential. It prepares them not for a life of ease, but for a life of capable leadership. The takeaway here is to consciously step back. Give your children age-appropriate responsibilities and let them own the outcomes. Use an allowance to teach real-world budgeting. When they struggle, resist the urge to rescue them. Instead, offer guidance, but let them find the solution. You aren't preparing the road for the child, you are preparing the child for the road. Rule number 4, the cultivation of the mind as the ultimate asset. The fourth pillar of this curriculum is the belief that the ultimate asset isn't a stock portfolio, but a cultivated mind. While prestigious schools are often part of the picture, the real emphasis is on intellectual curiosity nurtured at home. This starts with an environment that values learning. In these homes, libraries are not just for decoration, they are used. Reading is a core family activity. Screen time is often limited, not as a punishment, but to create the mental space for deep focus and critical thought. The thinking is that a mind cluttered with the noise of social media can't engage in the deep work required for a fulfilling life. This intellectual development goes beyond books. There's a strong emphasis on exposure to arts and culture. Regular trips to museums, theaters, and concerts are seen as essential parts of a well-rounded education. A child learns to appreciate classical music or analyze a piece of art. This isn't about creating snobs, it's about developing a sophisticated palette for beauty and nuance. It provides a lifetime of pleasure that is totally independent of material wealth. As mentioned, dinner conversations are a key tool here. They're a forum for debating ideas and learning to think critically. This has a powerful side effect. It vaccinates children against shallow materialism. When your family values a good debate about history more than the latest designer bag, your sense of what's truly valuable shifts. You learn that possessions are temporary, but knowledge and wisdom are permanent. Furthermore, this education is often global. Travel is prioritized not as leisure, but as education. A trip to another country is a chance to learn a language, understand a different culture, and see the world from a new perspective. It builds adaptability, empathy, and worldly sophistication that can't be learned from a textbook. Old money families understand that financial capital is vulnerable. It can be lost in a market crash or squandered in a generation. Intellectual capital, however, only grows. It's the one investment that can never be taken away. They raise children who can navigate any social situation and find fulfillment that goes beyond their bank balance. To apply this, prioritize intellectual and cultural education at home. Read together as a family. Limit mindless screen time and replace it with trips to the library or museums. Use the dinner table to discuss ideas. By fostering a genuine love of learning, you give your children an inheritance that will enrich their entire lives.
Rule number 5. The armor of understatement and discretion. The fifth rule is one of the most visible yet misunderstood parts of the old money ethos, using understatement as a form of armor. In a world where new money often shouts its success with flashy logos and exotic cars, old money whispers. This quietness isn't modesty, it's a strategic choice. Children in these families learn early that attention is a currency to be spent wisely. Overt displays of wealth invite risk, envy, unwanted requests, and a loss of privacy. The philosophy is simple. Logos face inward, not outward. Success is to be enjoyed personally, not broadcast for public approval. This is why you see a preference for quality over flash. They'll invest in a timeless, beautifully crafted coat that lasts a decade, rather than the trendy item of the season. This isn't about being cheap, it's a mindset of quiet abundance, a confidence so secure it doesn't need external validation. Discretion extends to speech, too. The first rule kids often learn about money is you don't talk about it, how much your family has or how much anyone else has. It's considered vulgar. This teaches them that a person's worth isn't tied to their net worth. This habit of discretion creates a powerful aura of privacy. Family affairs are kept within the family. In an era of oversharing, the person who maintains their privacy controls their own narrative. They understand that mystery commands a certain respect. By not revealing everything, they protect themselves from public judgment. Secrecy becomes a shield. This practice is also about strategic invisibility. An old money axiom is to exit the stage while the applause is still loud. You don't attend every party or speak on every panel. This scarcity preserves dignity and communicates that your time and presence are valuable. In short, Understatement is a sophisticated defense mechanism. It deflects envy, maintains privacy, and signals a confidence that needs no approval. It's the armor that allows one to move through the world with security, protected from the transactional nature of public attention. The practical lesson is to model discretion. Shift the focus from acquiring things for show to investing in quality for personal enjoyment. Establish a family rule of not discussing finances or flaunting possessions. Encourage privacy and teach your children that not every thought needs to be shared online. By cultivating a culture of understatement, you teach them their value is internal, not something that needs to be constantly proven to the outside world. Rule number 6. The currency of gratitude and unassuming service. The sixth principle is the dual practice of gratitude and service, a powerful antidote to the entitlement that wealth can breed. In these families, privilege is framed not as a right, but as a profound responsibility. Gratitude isn't a once-a-year event, it's a daily ingrained habit. Children are taught to express thanks for small things, and the handwritten thank you note remains a non-negotiable ritual. This seemingly quaint practice does more than teach manners. It forces a child to pause, reflect on a kindness, and articulate their appreciation. This builds a muscle of gratefulness and prevents them from taking their advantages for granted. This sense of gratitude is directly tied to an expectation of service. The lesson is clear: to whom much is given, much is expected. However, the philanthropy practice here is often different from the high-profile charity seen today. It is quiet, discreet, and often unglamorous. The goal isn't public recognition, it's genuine contribution. Children are introduced to this early. They might be expected to volunteer regularly, not for a photo op, but as a consistent part of their lives. This hands-on involvement serves two purposes. First, it exposes them to realities different from their own, building empathy. Second, it reinforces the concept of stewardship, the idea that wealth is a tool to be used for the community's betterment. This teaches a crucial lesson. Confidence should not be confused with dominance. Leadership here means lifting others up, often quietly and without expecting credit. It's about service, not stardom. By instilling this value, parents ensure their children understand their purpose is not to be served, but to serve. An individual whose self-worth is tied to their positive impact on the world possesses an unbreakable form of confidence. It's no longer about them, it's about the legacy of responsibility they carry. To bring this home, make gratitude a daily micro-ritual. Insist on thank you notes for gifts and kindnesses. More importantly, involve your children in consistent, unglamorous service. Find a local cause you can support together as a family. Teach them that having advantages isn't to insulate yourself from the world, but to be in a better position to improve it. These principles aren't really about money. They're about a mindset for building a life of substance and grace. If you're finding value in this exploration of generational wisdom, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps us create more content that pulls back the curtain on these timeless ideas. Now, let's continue. Rule number 7. The legacy of the story. The seventh rule is perhaps the most personal part of the curriculum, using family stories to instill a sense of legacy. Old money families know that wealth is just one part of an inheritance. The more important part is the inheritance of identity, values, and resilience. This is passed down through stories. Often with grandparents involved, family stories are shared. These aren't always tales of success. Crucially, they often include stories of hardship, struggle, and even failure. A child might hear about a great-grandparent who lost everything and had to rebuild, or an ancestor who made a difficult moral choice. These narratives ground the family's current fortune in a context of hard work and perseverance. They show that wealth isn't a magical state of being, but the result of human effort, and can be lost if not managed wisely. These stories create a longer timeline in a child's mind. They learn to see themselves not as an individual, but as a link in a chain stretching into the past and future. This fosters a powerful sense of accountability. Their actions don't just reflect on them, they reflect on the family name and contribute to the ongoing story.
This is how legacy becomes real. This tradition also subtly teaches the importance of intergenerational relationships. By listening to their elders, children learn to value the wisdom that comes with experience. They see that the family is a collective, where the younger generation brings energy and the older generation provides perspective and history. This practice of passing down stories creates a private family culture with its own heroes and guiding principles. It answers the fundamental questions for a child. Who am I? Where do I come from? And what is expected of me? When a child knows their family story, they understand they're inheriting more than assets. They're inheriting a legacy of character. You can apply this by making family storytelling a tradition. Invite older relatives to share stories about their lives. Don't shy away from stories of failure. They are often the most valuable lessons in resilience. Create a family tree and talk about the people on it. By connecting your children to their past, you give them a compass for their future. Rule number 8. The stewardship of resources, not the consumption of luxury. The final rule is a fundamental reframing of money itself. In a consumer world, money is often seen as a tool for acquiring things. In the old money curriculum, money is a resource to be managed and a responsibility to be stewarded for future generations. Financial literacy is integrated into a child's education from an early age, not as an academic subject, but as a hands-on part of life. As discussed, allowances teach budgeting and saving, but the lessons go deeper. Children are taught the difference between cash and capital. Cash is what you spend. Capital is the engine, the assets and skills that generate wealth over the long term. They learn that a salary can disappear, but ownership can weather economic storms. This mindset changes their relationship with luxury. They aren't taught to desire luxury goods for status. Instead, they are taught to think like investors. Before a big purchase, the questions are different. What's the long-term value? What's the cost of maintenance? Does this align with our long-term goals? This is why old money often prioritizes high-quality, timeless items over disposable, trendy luxuries. It's not about deprivation, it's about making deliberate, intelligent choices. This approach is rooted in a generational mindset. The goal is not to maximize one's own lifestyle, but to preserve and grow the family's capital for generations to come. The shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations proverb is a well-known cautionary tale in these families, and this curriculum is designed to defy it. Gifts often reflect this philosophy. Instead of a large cash gift, a grandparent might match a teenager's summer job earnings in a retirement account or seed a small index fund to teach them about dividends. The gift isn't the money, it's the financial lesson it carries. In essence, old money teaches its children to be the masters of their money, not the other way around. They develop a calm, strategic relationship with wealth. Their confidence comes from understanding and control, not from abundance. The practical application is to teach money as a life skill, openly and without shame. Use an allowance to introduce saving, spending, and giving. As kids get older, talk to them about budgeting, investing, and the difference between an asset and a liability. By demystifying money and framing it as a tool for building a secure life, you empower them to become responsible stewards of their own financial futures. So, as we've seen, this hidden curriculum is not a playbook for getting rich. It's a blueprint for living a life of substance, elegance, and quiet strength. The 8 principles: self-command, ritual, early autonomy, intellectual cultivation, discretion, gratitude and service, storytelling, and stewardship aren't exclusive to those with trust funds. They are timeless values accessible to anyone. They teach us that true elegance comes from internal discipline, not external displays. That confidence is built on competence, not praise. That a cultivated mind is the most valuable asset, and that a life of purpose is found in service, not stardom. This is the compound interest on values that builds not just generational wealth, but generational character. Ultimately, the most profound secret of old money might be that wealth isn't the goal, it's a byproduct. The real goal is to raise adults who are poised, responsible, and grounded, stewards of a legacy measured not in dollars, but in dignity. and that is an inheritance worth cultivating in any family. Thanks for watching. If these ideas resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into building a life of elegance and purpose.